Today, I'm counting down 17 base building games that are absolutely worth every penny, whether you're looking for creative freedom, brutal survival, or something in between. SCUM is hardcore survival taken to the absolute extreme. We're talking metabolism simulation where you track calories, vitamins, and even your character's bowel movements. Complex medical systems where bullet wounds need proper treatment. Skill progression tied to actual attributes like strength and dexterity. This isn't your casual survival game. SCUM is a prison island battle royale meets DayZ style survival simulator where every mechanic is designed to punish you for mistakes. And in this unforgiving environment, base building becomes your only sanctuary from the chaos. But here's what makes SCUM fascinating for base builders. It gives you genuine architectural freedom while forcing you to think like a military engineer. You're not just stacking walls, you're calculating structural stability, planning defensive positions, and building fortresses designed to withstand coordinated raids from organized squads. Everything starts with the flag. In SCUM, you can't build anything without first claiming territory. Place your flag, and a visible radius appears showing your buildable area. This flag does 3 critical things: prevents other players from building in your space, stops them from locking doors in your territory, and serves as a central repair station for your entire base using a toolbox. The flag is your sovereignty, which also means it's the #1 target for raiders, protected accordingly. Now here's where SCUM offers the strategic choice that defines your playstyle. Option 1. Find an existing building, an abandoned house, warehouse, military bunker, and fortify it. Claim the doors, board up weak points, build walls around the perimeter. Option 2. Build from absolute scratch using modular elements in an open field. Option 3, and this is what experienced players do: hybrid approach. Find a structure with good bones, claim it, then build modular extensions and defensive perimeters around it. The modular building system is where SCUM flexes its engineering muscles. You're working with foundations, walls, floors, stairs, door frames, and roofs that all snap together like Lego pieces. But unlike Lego, you can't just stack them randomly. Stability matters. You need proper foundations to support walls. You need support elements to build higher. The game literally calculates structural integrity based on what's underneath. Try building a 3-story metal fortress on wooden twig foundations. It'll collapse or simply won't let you build that high. Material hierarchy is critical. Twig is your starting material. Cheap, fast, but weak. Wood is your standard mid-tier option. Metal provides serious protection. Concrete is endgame fortress level defense. But here's the genius mechanic. You don't build 3 separate walls for 3-layer defense anymore. Walls are upgradable. Build a basic wooden wall, then hold F and select upgrade. Fill the new blueprint with materials, metal scraps, cement bags, barbed wire, and boom, you've transformed that wooden wall into reinforced metal without rebuilding from scratch. Same goes for doors, door frames, and watchtowers. But there's a catch that balances the system: module limits. Solo players get 100 modular elements per flag. That's not a lot when you're building multi-story compounds with multiple rooms. Squads get higher limits based on member count, which creates this brilliant risk-reward dynamic. See a massive concrete fortress? You know there's gear for an entire team inside. Small base, probably a solo player's stash. Private servers can adjust limits, but the standard creates natural base scaling. Engineering and survival skills gate your building capabilities. You can't just spawn and start building concrete bunkers. You need to level these skills through gameplay, which means early bases are primitive and you gradually unlock better structures. It's progression that makes sense. You're learning to build better as you survive longer. Defensive strategy in SCUM is all about layers and choke points. Smart players build fortress-style compounds, main cabins, and storage in the center, surrounded by multiple wall perimeters that upgrade from wood to metal to concrete. Watchtowers provide elevated firing positions. Barbed wire on the inside of walls prevents raiders from climbing over. Spike traps and explosives with motion sensors create kill zones. Then there's the airlock meta. Instead of single door entry, you build multiple doors with wall segments creating zigzag paths. This forces raiders to breach multiple layers, buying you time to respond. Advanced builders create peaks, intentional gaps in walls behind door frames where you can shoot at lockpickers without exposing yourself. Stack cabinets on cabin roofs for elevated cover positions during firefights. Here's the crucial mistake new players make: building walls at the edge of your flag radius. Don't do it. Raiders will build watchtowers just outside your boundary and jump over your walls. Always build walls well inside your territory, leaving a buffer zone. This single mistake has cost countless players their entire bases. Location strategy depends on server type and playstyle. PvP servers. Find areas with natural elevation advantages, limited approach vectors, proximity to loot, but not too close to high traffic areas. PvE. Build near traders and resource-rich zones. Woodlands provide concealment. Flat areas give maximum buildable space, but zero natural defense. The meta game becomes squad coordination and resource management. Solo players build compact, heavily fortified boxes. Squads build sprawling compounds with specialized sections, armories, medical bays, vehicle garages, farming plots. The best bases have redundant storage in hidden locations because everything is raidable eventually. SCUM proves that realistic simulation mechanics don't limit base building creativity. They enhance it. When structural stability matters, when material choice affects defense, when territorial control requires strategic thinking, base building becomes genuine engineering, and when you finally hold off a 5-man raid squad because your layered defenses and tactical positioning were better than their numbers, that's the hardcore survival base building experience. SCUM nails the hardcore survival realism, but if you want survival without the constant threat of snipers ruining your day, let's drift over to something more peaceful, literally. Most survival games give you land to build on. Raft gives you 4 foundation tiles floating in an infinite ocean with a man-eating shark circling underneath your base isn't anchored to terrain. It is your terrain. Every square foot of buildable space must be crafted from debris. You hook out of the water and the entire structure drifts endlessly across the sea. It's base building as pure survival, where expansion means collecting enough planks and plastic to literally grow your home one foundation at a time. The building hammer unlocks your construction system, letting you place foundations, walls, floors, roofs, pillars, and hundreds of building pieces using primarily planks, plastic, and nails. Foundations are your currency. Each one expands your raft's footprint horizontally, but here's the genius. You can build vertically too, stacking multiple floors to create towering ocean mansions without consuming more foundations. A 3x3 footprint can become a 3-story structure housing your water purifier, grill, research table, storage chests, crop plots, beehives, and living quarters. Space planning becomes an engineering puzzle where vertical construction solves horizontal limitations. Collection nets are your passive resource gatherers. Hang them from the sides of your raft and they'll automatically catch floating debris. They don't count toward your foundation total, so smart builders replace non-essential foundation tiles with nets to maximize collection area while minimizing the raft's weight. A 10x15 raft with strategic net placement can gather resources like a vessel twice its size while requiring fewer engines to move. Speaking of engines, once you unlock the steering wheel and engine blueprints from the Vasagaten story location, you gain full directional control. One engine pushes up to 100 foundations at slow speed. 2 engines move 100 to 200 foundations at moderate speed. 6 engines hit maximum speed regardless of raft size, though most builders run 2 to 3 engines for efficiency. Engines burn planks, 36 seconds per plank, or biofuel, 12 minutes per canister. Connect biofuel tanks via fuel pipes, and you've automated power distribution, keeping engines running for 48 minutes per tank without manual refueling. It's industrial logistics on a floating platform. Foundation armor is your defensive layer. The shark attacks your raft every 5 minutes, targeting outer foundations and dealing damage that costs resources to repair armor each outer foundation tile with metal ingots and nails, and the shark literally can't damage your raft anymore. Problem solved permanently. It's an upfront investment that eliminates a constant resource drain, and for long-term builders, it's non-negotiable. The research system gates progression beautifully. You start with basic survival tools, but unlocking advanced workbenches, crop plots, engines, recyclers, and battery chargers requires researching blueprints at the research table. You'll need to explore islands, dive reefs, and scavenge story locations to find new blueprints and materials. This ties base expansion directly to exploration. You can't build a self-sustaining farm without visiting islands for dirt and seeds. Can't power electric equipment without finding circuit boards and batteries. Can't refine biofuel without reaching Balboa Island's ranger station. Infrastructure planning becomes critical as your raft grows. Engines need biofuel refiners. Refiners need farms producing raw food, and beehives producing honey. Farms need irrigation systems and crop plots. Animals require pens and feeding stations. A fully functional late-game raft easily spans 30 to 40 foundations just for production infrastructure. Not counting living spaces or decoration anchors let you stop anywhere to explore without your raft drifting away. Throwable anchors are single-use. Stationary anchors placed on 3x3 foundations are permanent solutions. What makes Raft's building system special is how mobility shapes every decision. Your base isn't static, it moves constantly unless anchored. You're not defending a fixed position, you're piloting a growing vessel through story locations while managing resources, production chains, and shark attacks. Building vertically conserves foundations for engines. Placing collection nets strategically maximizes passive gathering. Armoring foundations eliminates threats. Installing biofuel automation extends sailing range. There's no size limit except performance. Builders have created massive ocean fortresses with hundreds of foundations, multi-story complexes with themed rooms, floating farms, and industrial production facilities that dwarf the original 2x2 starting raft. The only constraint is imagination and the willingness to gather materials. For base builders who want survival mechanics that force creative problem solving, where every expansion decision matters because space itself is a resource you must create, Raft delivers an experience unlike anything else you're not building on the world. You're building the world, one plank at a time, while drifting toward the horizon. Raft proves you don't need solid ground to build something incredible. But what if you took that creative freedom and launched it into space? That's exactly where we're headed next. Space engineers redefined sandbox construction with realistic physics and block-based engineering, but after 11 years, the original's aging V-Rage engine couldn't keep up with modern ambitions. Space Engineers 2 isn't an update, it's a complete reimagining built on the new Vrage 3 engine, eliminating the small versus large grid distinction that constrained creativity and introducing building mechanics so intuitive that newcomers can start immediately while veterans find unprecedented depth. This is engineering without artificial limits. The revolutionary 25cm unified grid system changes everything. The original forced you to choose between small grids, detailed machinery, fighter ships, and large grids. Capital ships stations that couldn't seamlessly integrate. Space Engineers 2 unifies them into one coherent 25cm system where intricate components, massive structures, and everything between exist on the same grid. Build a capital ship with functional interior machinery visible through windows. Design space stations where small detailed mechanisms control large-scale operations. Create modular constructions that scale from handheld tools to planet-sized megastructures without grid conversion headaches. It's Lego engineering where every piece connects naturally, blueprint building streamlines construction dramatically. Partial copy-paste lets you replicate specific design elements. Copy that engine cluster you perfected and paste it throughout your ship. Snap to grid ensures precise alignment without fighting placement systems. Assign blueprints to toolbar for instant access to frequently used components. Grid undo redo means mistakes aren't permanent. Step backward through construction history or restore what you accidentally deleted. Projection building visualizes entire structures before committing resources, letting you plan massive projects and see exactly how they'll look. These aren't quality of life additions, they fundamentally transform how you approach engineering projects. Enhanced creative tools empower ambitious builds. Symmetry tools mirror constructions automatically. Design one side of your ship and watch the other half replicate perfectly. Line and plane building place multiple blocks simultaneously along axes or surfaces, creating walls, corridors, and structural frameworks in seconds instead of minutes. The voxel hand sculpts terrain with precision, carving tunnels through asteroids or terraforming planetary surfaces. The paint tool adds customization beyond functional blocks, letting you color code sections, create faction identifiers, or simply make your creations visually distinct. Volumetric water introduces entirely new engineering challenges. Build underwater bases on ocean floors requiring pressure management and airlocks. Design submarines with functional ballast systems and propulsion optimized for aquatic movement. Engineer across planetary water tables. Drill cliffs beside lakes to create waterfalls. Reroute rivers to fill valleys. Manipulate hydrology dynamically. Water physics physics integrate fully with the destructible environment, meaning your engineering decisions affect entire ecosystems. It's not decoration, it's simulated H2O responding to construction, destruction, and planetary modification. Backpack building revolutionizes early survival. Craft directly from raw materials in your inventory without requiring established infrastructure. No more dying because you couldn't access a refinery projection building becomes crucial for survival planning, letting you visualize base layouts before gathering resources. Enhanced planets feature diverse biomes and dynamic weather systems that affect construction decisions. Build heat-resistant structures for volcanic regions. Design sealed habitats for toxic atmospheres. Engineer bases that withstand storms, temperature extremes, and environmental hazards specific to biome types. The Almagest system introduces Space Engineer's first story campaign. Human NPCs and factions populate space stations where you trade, accept quests, and encounter AI-driven ships responding to your actions. Your engineering serves narrative purposes. Construct infrastructure supporting colonization efforts. Build specialized equipment for quest objectives. Engineer solutions to challenges involving mysterious ancient technology. The story unfolds through your constructions, making every base, ship, and station narratively significant. PCU performance cost units limits ensure builds remain performant while allowing substantial freedom. Creative mode provides enough PCU for multiple large-scale capital ships or massive space stations. Ongoing optimization promises increasing limits as development continues, but the system already supports significantly more complex constructions than expected, with better performance than the original despite higher visual fidelity. Multiplayer receives critical netcode improvements. Client-server architecture replaces Steam's networking services, with locally hosted games functioning as authoritative servers built collaboratively on massive projects. Orbital shipyards constructed by entire engineering teams. Planetary cities expanding organically. Modular stations growing through collective effort. Competitive PvP servers enable fleet combat where engineering quality determines battle outcomes. Visual revolution through ray-traced global illumination, realistic shadows, tessellated terrain with parallax mapping, and sleek armor edges creates the best-looking sandbox experience of this generation. Dynamic lighting eliminates the original's notorious bleed-through issues. TAA anti-aliasing finally exists. Multi-core CPU optimization and modern rendering techniques mean better performance despite dramatically improved visuals. The redesigned UI makes controls intuitive without sacrificing depth. Veterans access familiar systems faster. Newcomers aren't overwhelmed by complexity. Faster feedback systems communicate information clearly. The steep learning curve that intimidated new players, gone. Replaced with accessible interfaces that still enable sophisticated engineering modding support through Vrage Hub and Vrage Editor will unlock community creativity, continuing the Steam Workshop legacy that produced 500,000 plus player creations in the original early access roadmap. Promises Steam Workshop integration, multiplayer expansion, survival mechanics refinement, and continuous content addition shaped by community feedback over approximately 3 years. For base builders who want engineering that matters, where physics is realistic, destruction is fully simulated, and your constructions serve both creative and functional purposes, whether building underwater research facilities, orbital megastructures, or planetary colonization infrastructure. Space Engineers 2 delivers sandbox construction at engineering simulation depth. Your base isn't decoration, it's functional architecture you designed block by block, solving real physics problems in a universe that rewards clever engineering solutions. And finally, the building system actually cooperates with your vision. Space Engineers 2 lets you build massive space stations, but sometimes you want your feet on the ground, even if that ground is crawling with zombies. SurrounDead is the zombie survival game that one developer, literally one person doing this as a side project, has been building into something special. This is open world survival with all the expected mechanics: looting, crafting, vehicles that break down, skill progression, weapons degradation. But what makes it interesting for base builders is the flexibility. You can claim existing structures like bunkers and fire stations, or you can build modular compounds from scratch in the wilderness. And unlike most early access survival games, SurrounDead gives you actual empty buildings specifically designed as base locations. Let me start with what sets SurrounDead apart: the bunker system. There are 4 empty underground bunkers scattered across the map, and they're basically moving move-in ready apocalypse apartments. These aren't tiny survival shelters, we're talking full underground complexes with multiple rooms, garage space, and enough square footage for serious operations. The northern bunker is popular, but personally, I prefer the central one south of the prison on that dirt road. Central location, access to multiple loot routes, and isolated enough that zombie traffic stays manageable. But bunkers aren't your only option. The community loves using fire stations because of the central map positioning and massive interior space. 2 vehicle bays, office areas, tons of parking, easy to fortify. Warehouses offer similar benefits. Huge open floor plans, perfect for organizing storage and crafting stations. Some players even claim Firewatch towers on hilltops, building around that strategic elevation advantage. The beauty of SurrounDead is you're not limited to designated base zones. See a warehouse you like? Claim it. Find a construction site with good bones. Make it yours. The building system runs on a 3-tier workbench progression. Start by crafting a basic crafting bench from your inventory. Just press tab, open the crafting tab, build it, then right-click and place it. This unlocks the construction workbench, also called building station, which is where the real base building happens. Access the construction workbench and you'll see 2 tabs, standard and modular. Standard has your basic placeables, storage containers, campfires, furniture, defenses. Modular is where you build structures. The modular system is relatively new to SurrounDead, and it's a game changer. Wooden foundations, walls, floors, stairs, roofs, door frames, windows, all snap together seamlessly. No tedious micro adjustments trying to align pieces. Look at an existing modular piece and new ones automatically snap to it. This lets you construct multi-story buildings, custom compounds, perimeter walls, whatever your design requires. Full creative freedom with foundations, half walls, quarter foundations, triangle pieces for complex angles, gable roofs, corner stairs. The building vocabulary is comprehensive. Currently, everything is wooden tier, but the framework exists for upgrades. Think of it like early 7 Days to Die or Rust progression, where you start with wood and eventually unlock metal and concrete. For now, wooden fortifications work fine because, and here's the thing, there are no AI base attacks yet. It's on the roadmap, but currently base building is purely about storage organization and establishing your operational hub. No horde knights, no raiders, just you creating your perfect post-apocalyptic home. Storage strategy differs based on playstyle. The game has infinite backpack stacking, which means dedicated nomads literally live out of their vehicles. SWAT truck becomes mobile base, tent and sleeping bag for spawn points, portable crafting station for repairs. But if you're like me and you enjoy the settlement aspect, you'll want proper storage. You can use existing containers in claimed buildings, craft your own storage boxes and crates, or mix both approaches. Pro tip, you can toggle container loot, refresh in settings, turning any existing container into permanent storage. Location strategy comes down to 3 factors: trader proximity, resource access, and map position. Bases near NPC vendors mean easy shopping and selling without long drives. Central map positions minimize travel time to any POI. Proximity to towns increases resource density, but also zombie encounters. Some players prefer remote bunkers for security. Others want that fire station in the middle of everything for convenience. There's no wrong answer, it depends on whether you value safety or efficiency. One underutilized feature, you can remove clutter from some buildings using a shovel. Not every building supports it yet, early access limitations, but when it works, you can clear out debris and really customize interior spaces. Combined with placeable furniture and decorations, you can transform generic structures into personalized bases. The crafting station hierarchy extends beyond construction. That 3rd-tier weapons bench unlocks ammunition crafting and weapon modifications. Combined with your construction workbench, you're building a fully functional compound with everything you need for long-term survival. Vehicle bay, weapons manufacturing, storage organization, cooking facilities, sleeping quarters. And here's what makes SurrounDead special for the base building community. It's being developed by someone who listens. Modular building was added based on player feedback. Bunker redesigns are coming in the next major update. NPC recruitment and base defense mechanics are planned. This is early access done right. A solo developer building features the community actually wants. SurrounDead proves that even as a side project from a single developer, you can create compelling base building systems. When you give players empty bunkers to customize, modular pieces that actually snap together, and the freedom to build anywhere on a massive map, base building becomes genuine creative expression. And when you finally transform that underground underground bunker into a fully stocked survival compound with organized storage, crafting stations, and aesthetic touches. That's the indie survival base building experience worth supporting.
SurrounDead delivers classic zombie survival with deep base mechanics, but if you're craving something darker and more atmospheric, number 13 is calling.
Vain is what happens when someone asks, what if Project Zomboid was in first person with realistic graphics and taken to the absolute extreme? This is hardcore survival simulation where you're tracking not just hunger and thirst, but specific vitamin deficiencies, psychological stress, individual injuries that need proper treatment, and a skill system with 20 different abilities to level. The map is massive, a recreation of New York's Champlain Valley, with real towns, forests, and hundreds of buildings. And here's the kicker for us base builders. You don't build bases from scratch. You claim existing structures and fortify them into impenetrable fortresses. Let me explain why this approach is brilliant. Instead of spending hours placing individual wall pieces in an empty field, you're scouting real locations with strategic value. That fire station with 2 vehicle bays and roof access? Perfect. The High Noon Plaza with industrial freezers, flat roofs for solar panels, and on-site gas pumps? Endgame material. That island house accessible only by a single bridge? Natural choke point heaven. Vain turns base building into real estate strategy where location matters more than construction skill. Everything revolves around the utility cabinet. This is your land claim, your spawn blocker, and your auto repair station rolled into one craftable box. Place a UC in a building and an orange radius appears showing your buildable area. Within that radius, 3 critical things happen. Zombies stop spawning, container loot stops respawning, and any structures you build get automatically repaired as long as you feed the cabinet materials. Without a UC, you're just visiting. With a UC, you own the property. But here's the genius mechanic that makes Vain's system scalable. You can place multiple UCs. Want to claim that entire prison complex? Drop 6 or 7 cabinets throughout the buildings. Want to secure an entire island? Place enough UCs to blanket the area, then build a wall and gate at the bridge choke point. Each cabinet needs materials for maintenance: wood, metal, concrete, but the territorial control is absolute. No zombie spawns, no loot respawns, complete security within your claimed zones. The fortification system runs on 4 tiers, and understanding the progression is critical. Tier 1 is wood scrap, fast to build, breaks easily, vulnerable to everything. Think of it as temporary barricades for windows and doors. Tier 2 is fortified wood, significantly stronger, requires proper tools and materials, holds up against basic zombie hordes. Tier 3 is limestone brick. Now we're talking fortress construction. You're mining limestone, grinding it to powder, making concrete paste, and building structures that zombies can't touch. Tier 4 is scrap metal, endgame defense designed for PvP. Only explosives damage these fortifications. Building mechanics use a smart snapping system. Look at an existing fortification, fence, wall, barricade, and a new one appears positioned next to it. Mouse wheel rotates your placement. This lets you create perfect 90-degree corners and seamless defensive perimeters without measuring or guessing. The trick is building from high ground down to low ground for perfect horizontal alignment. Fences sink into terrain naturally, following the landscape while maintaining structural integrity. Storage strategy differs from typical survival games because you're working with existing buildings. Find that garage with tool cabinets? Those are yours now. Industrial freezers at the plaza. Stack them with preserved food that decays slower. You can build additional storage, crate shelves, barrels, weapon racks. But smart players utilize existing infrastructure first. Hang loaded weapons on walls for quick access during raids. Park vehicles in garages as mobile storage units. Use that professional kitchen for cooking stations. The progression curve pushes you toward better locations as you develop. Early game, any house with a door works. Mid game, fire stations and garages with vehicle bays and workshop space. Late game, massive compounds like the prison complex, the plaza with multiple buildings, or strategic islands with limited access points. Larger bases attract bigger hordes though, so expansion requires genuine defensive preparation. Here's what separates Vain from other survival-based builders: realism constraints that enhance gameplay. You can't build custom buildings because realistically, pouring foundations and framing structures takes months with professional crews. Instead, you're doing what actual survivors would do, finding the best existing shelter and fortifying it with available materials. Boarding windows, reinforcing doors, building perimeter fences, creating safe zones within claimed territory. The metagame becomes location scouting and resource efficiency. Solo players find compact houses near loot and resources. Squads claim sprawling complexes with multiple UCs, creating interconnected safe zones. PvP players build on islands or elevated positions with controlled access points. Everyone's calculating proximity to resources, natural defenses, roof access for solar and farming, vehicle storage capacity, and expansion potential. Vayne proves that limiting building options doesn't limit strategic depth, it focuses it. When you can't build anywhere, every location decision matters. When fortifications require progression through material tiers, defense becomes genuine investment. When the utility cabinet system lets you claim entire neighborhoods by placing multiple units, base building scales from survival shelter to territorial control. And when you've transformed that dingy fire station into a fully operational compound with solar power, vehicle bays, farming plots, and tier 3 fortifications, that's the realistic survival base building experience that Project Zomboid fans have been waiting for.
Vayne's oppressive zombie world tests your survival instincts, but nothing tests them quite like other players, and that's where Rust comes in. You want to talk about base building that matters? Let's talk about Rust. Most survival games treat your base like a glorified storage chest. Rust? Your base is everything. Your vault, your respawn point, and the difference between thriving or getting offline raided into oblivion. The base building in Rust isn't just good, it's the entire psychological foundation the game is built on. Rust uses a building plan and hammer system with deceptive depth. Craft a building plan, place a tool cupboard to claim building privilege, then snap twig foundations, walls, and ceilings together. Twig is your blueprint mode, weak and temporary. Then you upgrade. Wood, stone, metal, or armor. Each tier requires exponentially more resources and provides exponentially more protection. Here's where Rust separates itself. Upgradability means your base evolves with you. That wood 2x2 you slap together on day 1, by day 7 it's a stone bunker with sheet metal doors and an armored core. Your base physically grows stronger as you do, and every farming session has purpose. Now let's talk about why Rust base building is brilliant. Raid economics. Every wall has a resource cost to build and a separate cost to destroy. C4 costs 2,200 sulfur plus materials. Breaking through one sheet metal wall requires 2 C4 or 4 rockets. This creates the honeycomb meta, surrounding loot rooms with empty buffer layers, forcing raiders to blow through multiple walls to reach your core. A properly honeycombed base might protect your loot behind 8 walls in every direction. That's 16 C4 minimum to reach center mass, over 35,000 sulfur. Good base design isn't about looking cool, it's about math. You're calculating how much sulfur will raiders need to profit. If your honeycomb costs more to raid than the loot inside is worth, you win. That's brilliant design. Creativity with triangles and squares translates directly into deterrence. The TC system is Rust's masterstroke. Place a tool cupboard, stock it with materials, and you have building privilege in a radius. Only authorized players can build or upgrade structures in that zone. Multi-TC bases extend privilege across compounds. External TCs create no-build zones preventing siege towers. Bunker bases use TC placement to create unraidable rooms accessible only when owners pick up specific walls. But if raiders destroy your TC, they claim building privilege. They can seal off sections of your base, lock you out, wall off respawn bags. The TC isn't just mechanics, it's the throne. Whoever controls it controls the base. Rust base building is psychological warfare. A massive compound looks expensive to raid even if poorly protected. A tiny 2x2 might hide armored honeycomb and stacked loot rooms behind 8 walls. Your base tells a story to everyone who sees it, and smart builders control that narrative. This is BuildStar, and Rust proves the best base building systems make every wall you place matter, every upgrade count, and every design decision the difference between triumph and total loss. Rust is brutal PvP chaos where your base is never truly safe. DayZ takes that same tension but strips away the hand-holding. This is survival at its most unforgiving.
DayZ is the godfather of hardcore survival, the original Arma 2 mod that spawned an entire genre and turned Bohemia Interactive into survival game royalty. This is brutal, unforgiving, permadeath survival where you can spend 40 hours gearing up only to get one-tapped by a sniper you never saw. Zombies are a threat, but players are the real danger. And in this cutthroat environment, base building wasn't even added until 2018. Years after standalone launch. That tells you something important. DayZ isn't about settling down, it's about nomadic survival. But when you do build, you're making a statement. Here's what makes DayZ base building unique compared to every other game we've covered. Minimalism by design. You don't get modular building systems with foundations, walls, and roofs. You get fences, watchtowers, and the ability to barricade existing structures. That's it in vanilla. No custom compounds from scratch. No snapping floor pieces together. You're working with prefabricated fence kits and tower kits that you assemble section by section. It's deliberately limited, and that limitation creates interesting strategic choices. The fence is your primary building block. Craft a fence kit from 2 sticks and rope. Place it on the ground, bury 2 logs with a shovel to create the foundation. Then you build the frame. Upper and lower sections requiring 4 planks and 8 nails each. Finally, clad both sections with 5 planks and 10 nails per section. One complete fence panel demands 18 planks and 36 nails total. Now multiply that by however many panels you need for a perimeter. Resource gathering is the real grind in DayZ base building. Watchtowers follow similar logic but vertical. 3-story structures requiring fence kits, logs, planks, nails, and eventually metal sheets for the roof. Each level uses the same fence construction process. You're essentially stacking 3 fence sections on top of each other, adding platforms and stairs. The resource cost is massive, which is exactly why most DayZ players never build them. You need lumberyards, industrial areas, and massive time investment just for basic structures. Security comes down to combination locks, and this is where DayZ gets brutal. Vanilla offers 2 lock types, blue 3-digit locks with 1,000 combinations, and red 4-digit locks with 10,000 combinations. Here's the nightmare. You must dial the combination every single time you open a gate. No saved codes, no one-time entry like modded code locks. Stand there spinning dials while hoping nobody shoots you in the back. That 30-second vulnerability is why airlock design matters. Build gates inside barns so you can close exterior doors before unlocking your actual base entrance. But here's the cruel reality veteran players know. 3-digit locks can be brute forced in 10 to 15 minutes. 4-digit locks take 1 to 2 hours if someone's determined. Players start at 500 or 5,000 and work upward because most people pick numbers in the upper half. Birth years, sequential patterns, all crackable. Lockpicking isn't some advanced skill, it's patience and a notepad. Your base security relies entirely on concealment, not lock strength. Raiding mechanics favor attackers. Melee weapons work but take 60 to 90 minutes of constant hammering per wall. Firearms are faster but loud. You're announcing free loot here to the entire server. Plastic explosives, 2C4 charges destroy a metal wall instantly. Grenades, mines, claymores, all work but require tons of materials. The fastest raid method is cracking the lock, which is why 4-digit codes are mandatory, and even then you're vulnerable. This brings us to the fundamental DayZ base building philosophy. Concealment over security. Build in dense forests, not near towns. Use camouflage netting religiously. Small footprints beat fortresses. Players describe bases so well hidden they couldn't find them at 100 feet, knowing exact coordinates. Elevation helps avoid sniper angles. Avoid high traffic areas completely. That church in the city center with 1 entrance. Terrible idea despite seeming defensible. Everyone checks churches for loot. The meta strategy? Many veterans don't build bases at all. Buried stashes in the woods, barrels hidden in bushes, tents camouflaged under trees, 0 visual profile, impossible to raid without stumbling across them randomly. The infinite backpack stacking glitch means dedicated nomads live out of vehicles, entire bases in a truck, completely mobile. When your base can drive away, raiders can't touch it. Modded servers completely transform the experience. Base Building Plus adds proper modular construction with rotation mechanics and new building parts. RA Base Building brings Rust-style building with garage doors, ladder hatches, compounds, 3 material tiers, and territory upkeep systems. Code lock mods replace vanilla combination locks with one-time entry systems and hacksaw raiding mechanics. Expansion adds comprehensive base building overhauls. Modded DayZ becomes a different game entirely, actually comparable to Rust or SCUM rather than minimal vanilla fortifications. But Vanilla's minimalism is intentional design philosophy. DayZ is about tension and loss, bases you can't truly defend, locks that crack with patience, raids that succeed through determination. Everything is temporary, nothing is safe. That's the point. In most survival games, your base is sanctuary. In DayZ, it's just another thing you'll eventually lose. DayZ proves that limiting base building doesn't make survival less intense. It makes it more so. When your only options are fence panels and watchtowers, when locks crack with patience, when concealment is your only real defense, base building becomes high-stakes gambling. And when you log in after 3 days to find your gate combination picked and everything stolen, that's authentic DayZ, brutal, unforgiving, and why we keep coming back.
DayZ makes you earn every victory, but if you'd rather build a Viking empire than scavenge for beans, number 10 offers a refreshing change of pace. You know what most Viking survival games get wrong? They treat settlements as personal projects. ASKA asks, what if your base was a living community where NPCs have schedules, needs, and personalities? What if building wasn't about stacking walls for yourself, but designing a functional village where villagers work, sleep, eat, and defend alongside you? This isn't just building. This is colony management meets Viking survival. ASKA's villagers are intelligent NPCs, not decorations. They have daily schedules, need food, water, and rest, and possess individual perks making them better at specific jobs. Some are natural fighters, others skilled crafters, some excel at gathering, and they will die if you don't design properly. This changes everything. You're not placing a house for storage, you're building shelters with beds positioned close to work sites but far from danger. You're not crafting a workshop, you're assigning NPCs with proper perks, managing schedules for productivity. Press tab for settlement issues showing exactly what's wrong. Hungry villagers, damaged buildings, depleted resources. Your base isn't static. It's a system demanding constant management. ASKA uses deliberate, grounded construction. Press B, select structure, place blueprint. But you're not done. Flatten terrain with a hoe. Uneven ground prevents building. Then assemble in stages, each requiring different resources. A workshop needs wood beams for framing, stone for foundation, thatch for roofing. This makes every building feel earned. You're gathering materials, processing at stations, hauling to build sites, assembling piece by piece. If enemies attack during construction, half-built structures can be destroyed, forcing restarts. Structures degrade over time, spawning yellow debris showing repair materials needed. Unlike games with relocation, ASKA punishes poor location choices permanently. Find the cave stone. Every island has exactly one marking your iron mine. Build close or spend hours hauling ore. Avoid enemy spawners, monuments, and weird trees that constantly harass villages. Build near beaches for stones, mussels, reeds, and fishing. Find flat land because steep terrain is nearly impossible to level. Locate natural water collectors for free water sources. Get location right and villages scale smoothly. Get it wrong and you're managing shortages and enemy pressure for 50+ hours. Every structure serves specific purposes. Eye of Odin is spawn point and village center. Shelters house villagers with beds determining capacity. Water wells provide bulk water. Workshops enable crafting. Gatherers, woodcutters, and stonecutters' pits create gathering zones. Farms allow crop cultivation. Warehouses store resources. But warehouse workers are intrusive thieves, grabbing materials mid-craft or devouring raw food before cooks prepare meals. Solution: storage whitelisting and worker restrictions. Ban warehouse workers from workshops. Restrict villagers from raw food storage. Create separate warehouses for different resources. You're designing logistics preventing villagers from sabotaging each other. The militia system lets you recruit villagers as guards defending during attacks. But militia only work if settlement design supports them. Fortifications, walls, choke points, guard towers, layered defenses preventing invaders from reaching critical buildings. This is BuildStar, and ASKA proves the best base building creates living systems where every structure, NPC, and design choice works together to survive a world wanting your tribe extinct. ASKA blends Norse mythology with co-op base building beautifully. But if you want your defenses tested every 7 days like clockwork, this next game has been perfecting that formula for years.
here's the thing about 7 Days to Die that separates it from every other survival builder. Your base isn't just a house, it's a fortress designed to withstand a literal zombie apocalypse. Every 7 in-game days, a blood moon rises and hundreds of undead come straight for you in an 8-hour siege that lasts from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. Your base either holds or you're starting over. That pressure transforms building from a creative hobby into strategic engineering. The block progression system is brilliant in its simplicity. You start with wood frames, 600 health points each, and upgrade them through 4 material tiers using your equipped tools. Wood frames become wood blocks with 8 wood, 1,200 health points. Then cobblestone blocks with 10 cobblestone rocks, 1,500 health points. Then concrete blocks with 10 concrete mix, 5,000 health points. And finally, steel blocks with 10 forged steel, 10,000 health points. Each upgrade grants experience points and increases durability exponentially. You can craft blocks directly or upgrade existing structures, and the beauty is you can reshape any block into hundreds of forms. Cubes, ramps, stairs, posts, partial blocks. By holding R and selecting from the Shapes menu, it's freeform building with meaningful material consequences. But here's where 7 Days to Die gets tactical. Zombie AI targets structural weak points. They don't just mindlessly attack, they pathfind toward your position and will demolish whatever stands between them and you. This forces you to think defensively. Elevated platforms with choke point entrances create bottlenecks where hordes funnel into kill zones. Multi-layered walls with 2 to 3 block thickness buy you precious repair time. Elevated positions make you harder to reach. Zombies can't jump to ladders that are 2+ blocks off the ground, so you can create entry points only you can access even better. Remove staircase sections mid-horde to strand climbing zombies. The trap and defensive systems integrate seamlessly into your architecture. Blade traps slice through zombie hordes and corridors. Electric fences connected to generators slow and damage approaching enemies. Shotgun turrets and dart traps auto-target threats if you've wired power to them. Landmines create area of effect devastation. Wood spikes and barbed wire fences form perimeter defenses that cripple legs and reduce mobility. You're not just placing decorative defenses, you're engineering overlapping fields of fire, controlling pathing with strategic walls, and creating kill boxes where zombies fall into spike-filled pits while you rain fire from above. Location matters tactically too. Flat elevated terrain gives clear sight lines. Natural barriers like mountains or water reduce entry points. Proximity to resources, clay, stone, iron veins, minimizes dangerous supply runs. Some players even build on bedrock or islands to limit ground level access. Others terraform moats around their bases or use existing POIS, points of interest, as fortified shells, upgrading concrete buildings into steel fortresses. What makes this system genius is how it scales with progression. Early game, you're throwing together cobblestone rectangles 7 blocks high with a single defended opening. By day 21, you need steel reinforced towers with generator-powered turret grids, multi-story platforms, drop traps beneath entry corridors, and enough structural integrity to withstand demolisher zombies and cop acid spit. Blood Moon difficulty increases with your game stage, so your base must evolve from survival shelter to military installation. Every block has durability. Zombies damage them. You repair them between hordes with the same materials used for upgrades. Running out of concrete mix or forged steel mid-siege means watching your walls crumble in real-time resource management isn't abstract. It's life or death when 50 zombies are battering down your steel door at 3:47 a.m. and you're out of repair materials. For base builders who want every construction decision to matter, where structural engineering determines survival and creative freedom exists within brutal tactical constraints, 7 Days to Die delivers like nothing else. Your base isn't art, it's a machine built to kill zombies and keep you breathing through the longest nights of your life.
7 Days to Die has mastered the horde defense loop, but what if instead of zombies you were facing off against ants the size of dogs? Welcome to your backyard nightmare.
Imagine being shrunk to ant size in a massive suburban park where a discarded soda can becomes a skyscraper and grass blades tower overhead like redwoods. Grounded 2 takes the beloved backyard survival concept and explodes it into Brook Hollow Park, a sprawling 1992-era public space, nearly matching the entire first game's map size just in the starting zone. Base building isn't just construction here, it's tactical survival architecture where elevation, resource proximity, and biome positioning determine whether you thrive or become bug food. The building system revolves around the resource analyzer found in Ranger outposts. Analyze every material you discover, bug parts, plant fibers, minerals, and you unlock new crafting recipes for structures, decorations, and equipment. This creates a progression loop where exploration directly expands your building options. Early game gives you grass walls and pebbleite foundations. Mid-game unlocks clay brick structures and woven fiber roofs. Late game provides advanced materials like pinecone roofs and Tier 3 bug part constructions that require defeating formidable enemies. The coziness mechanic adds brilliant depth. Some advanced building recipes don't unlock through analysis. They unlock by achieving coziness levels in your base place furniture, decorations, and high-tier building parts to increase coziness, which gates access to premium structures and provides buffs while you're inside your base. It transforms building from purely functional to genuinely rewarding, encouraging you to create aesthetically pleasing homes that mechanically benefit gameplay. Location strategy is critical. Height provides natural defense. Most early threats are ground-based, so building on elevated platforms like rocks, giant baseballs, or table surfaces offers free protection from spiders and ants. Resource proximity matters because your needs evolve. Early bases need grass and pebbleites within walking distance, while advanced bases require access to Tier 3 bug parts from dangerous biomes. Building near Ranger outposts gives free resource analyzer access and often unlimited water sources. Scout for hostile bug nests before settling. Constructing near spider dens or scorpion territories invites constant raids. The faction reactivity system makes defensive design essential. Kill too many bugs from a faction and you reach want you gone relationship status, triggering raids when you're near your bases. These aren't scripted events, they're random attacks where entire bug factions assault your structures. Smart builders create layered defenses, spike traps surrounding perimeters, elevated shooting platforms, reinforced walls from sturdy materials, and escape routes for emergencies. The game rewards tactical architecture where base layout directly impacts raid survivability. Building sets offer diverse aesthetic and functional options using different material combinations. Grass provides lightweight early structures, clay bricks offer mid-tier durability, woven fiber creates flexible designs. Each building set has distinct visual styles and structural properties, letting you customize bases to match biome themes or personal preferences while considering defensive capabilities. The workstation system structures your progression. Build essential crafting stations to unlock equipment tires, basic workbenches for starter gear, advanced stations for weapon modifications, specialized benches for armor crafting. Your base becomes a production hub where organized workstation placement streamlines crafting efficiency. Store materials in nearby containers organized by type. Bug parts here, plant materials there, creating assembly line workflows. What makes Grounded 2's building special is how it integrates with mounted combat and exploration. Tame buggies, rideable insects like red ant soldiers, and orb weaver spiders that assist with resource gathering and base defense. Send your red ant to collect materials while you build. Position your orb weaver to defend against raids with web entanglements and stun screams. Buggies transform bases from static shelters into dynamic operational centers where your insect allies actively participate in construction and protection. Early access means nomadic building strategies work best initially. Create small outpost bases across Brook Hollow Park rather than one mega fortress place tarp shelters near resource hotspots. Build respawn points in dangerous biomes. Establish crafting stations at strategic locations. As you unlock better materials and understand biome threats, consolidate into permanent bases with comprehensive defenses and coziness optimizations. The building grid system provides precise construction placement. Snap structures to grids for clean alignment. Stack floors vertically to create multi-story bases. Use decorative paths, rock or stick, to improve navigation and visibility in snow. The upcoming roadmap promises base moving mechanics, watery base structures for aquatic biomes, and enhanced building materials alongside new equipment tiers. For base builders who want survival construction where every placement decision affects defensibility, resource efficiency, and aesthetic progression, where you're not just building houses but creating fortified outposts in a world where you're the size of a pebble and everything wants to eat you. Grounded 2 delivers miniature-scale survival architecture that's genuinely grounded in tactical design. Your base isn't decoration, it's your lifeline in a park-sized wilderness where bugs rule and humans are just prey.
Grounded 2 shrinks you down to insect size, but Sons of the Forest reminds us that sometimes the scariest threats are human-sized, or worse.
Remember the Forest's clunky blueprint system where you placed ghosted structures and filled them with logs? Sons of the Forest said, what if we let players actually build, and introduced a freeform construction system that transforms base building from template placement into genuine carpentry? You're holding logs, sticks, and rocks manually, and the game gives you visual guidelines showing exactly where and how pieces connect. It's first-person construction that feels tactile, creative, and infinitely more flexible than its predecessor. The dual building system gives you 2 approaches. Press B to open your guidebook, and you're in the new freeform mode by default. A visual reference showing construction techniques while you place materials freely. Hold X to switch to classic mode, which brings back blueprint structures for quick shelters. Tarp tents requiring just a tarp and 2 sticks. Hunting shelters, small log cabins, lookout towers. Blueprints are perfect for fast survival setups when cannibals are closing in, but freeform building is where Sons of the Forest shines. Here's how manual construction works. Grab a log, your primary building material from felled trees, and white dashed guidelines appear showing placement options. Place 4 log stumps vertically to mark foundation corners. This levels uneven terrain automatically. Lay horizontal logs between vertical supports to create walls. Stack them 6 logs high, one more than the forest's 5 log walls, to build perimeter defenses. Place whole logs horizontally for roof beams, and the game shows moving arrows indicating orientation. Right-click to change laying direction. Split logs in half with your axe to fill gaps without wasting materials. Each placement triggers new dashed line prompts showing what you can add next. Doors, windows, stairs, reinforcements. Defensive structures are crucial because cannibals and mutants actively attack your base. Build defensive walls by placing vertical logs next to each other, then use your axe on the red dotted prompts at log tops to sharpen them into spikes. Sharpened defensive walls prevent enemies from climbing over. Regular walls can be scaled. Surround your base with stick structures adorned with body parts, crafted from, well, you know, to signal dominance and scare off potential attackers. Build log fences as perimeters. Install traps. Small animal traps for food, bone maker traps setting humanoids on fire, fly swatter traps for big game, hokey pokey traps with swinging spiked balls, lockable doors keep intruders out, elevated tree shelters, 2x2 log platforms attached to trees provide height advantage and safety. Reinforcement is critical for structural integrity. Strengthen wooden pillars by placing rocks or half logs diagonally at upper corners. Curved arrows appear showing reinforcement points. This increases durability against attacks and allows you to remove redundant interior pillars in larger buildings, creating open floor plans without losing stability. The guidebook shows reinforcement techniques for pillars, roofs, and foundations. Resource gathering becomes your primary activity. Logs are everything. You'll need hundreds for substantial bases. Chop trees with your axe. They fall in the direction you're facing, so aim carefully to avoid injury. Send Kelvin, your AI companion, to collect logs continuously while you build. Set up log collectors near construction sites to stockpile materials. Sticks, stones, and rope are found in camps, crash sites, and caves. Location matters strategically. Build near water sources for hydration, and fish forest clearings offer visibility to spot approaching threats. Mountain areas provide defensible high ground. Beach shores give open sight lines. Avoid the helicopter crash site and GPS markers, they attract cannibals. Best defensive location, build on non-freezing rivers where cannibals can't reach you easily. Multi-story construction uses vertical logs as supports and horizontal logs as floor layers. Build stairs by placing logs at angles. Guidelines show proper stair placement. Create interior rooms by partitioning walls. Add doors by chopping holes into walls. Hit red dotted lines with your axe, then place logs following prompts. Windows work similarly. Build fireplaces inside structures for heating and cooking. Rain catchers collect water, unusable during winter when they freeze. Standing planters and wall planters grow food from seeds during warm seasons. Utility buildings expand functionality. Storage units organize resources. Skull lamps light areas. Scarecrows prevent birds from stealing crops. Birdhouses passively collect feathers for arrows. The repair tool fixes structural damage after attacks. Minor damage repairs quickly, but total destruction requires complete rebuilds. What makes Sons of the Forest building special is how physical it feels. You're not clicking menus, you're holding logs, positioning them manually, watching dashed guidelines appear as you rotate pieces, hearing the thunk as materials snap into place. Split a log with your axe, and the other half flies off realistically. Drop it with G first to control where pieces land. Build a foundation on uneven ground and watch it adapt to terrain contours. Construct walls that actually block enemies. Create custom layouts impossible with blueprints. Angled roofs, multi-wing structures, fortified compounds with overlapping defenses. Your base evolves from a tarp tent on day 1 to a fortified compound with defensive perimeters, elevated platforms, secured storage, farming infrastructure, and living quarters. Kelvin can finish blueprint structures you start but can't do freeform construction. That creativity is all yours. Virginia, your other companion, doesn't build but will help defend for base builders who want survival construction that feels genuinely hands-on, where you're placing every log manually and seeing structures emerge from your physical labor while cannibals prowl the tree line waiting for nightfall. Sons of the Forest delivers primal satisfaction. Your shelter isn't spawned from a menu. You built it, log by log.
Sons of the Forest nails horror survival with incredible AI companions. But if you want to tame the threats instead of just fighting them, Ark takes that concept to prehistoric extremes.
Ark: Survival Ascended is the Unreal Engine 5 remake that transforms the original's notoriously clunky building system into something genuinely functional. You're still crafting bases on prehistoric islands filled with dinosaurs you can tame and ride, but now the construction mechanics actually cooperate with your vision. This isn't just graphical polish, it's a fundamental overhaul that turns base building from frustrating snap point battles into creative architectural engineering, where tame creatures become living infrastructure. The building overhaul solves Ark's biggest pain point: structure placement. Enhanced snap points accurately show where pieces will connect before you place them, eliminating the guessing game that plagued Survival Evolved. Cycling systems let you switch between wall variants. Solid walls, doorways, window frames, using a single engram instead of learning dozens of separate blueprints for every variation. Quarter walls and railings toggle between options seamlessly. Place structures upside down, horizontally, or vertically for creative freedom impossible in the original diagonal pillars, and flat foundations enable complex architectural designs. The entire engram system was streamlined. You'll spend hundreds fewer points just to build basic structures. The pickup mechanic is transformative. In Survival Evolved, moving a foundation destroyed everything attached to it. Walls, ceilings, crafting stations. Ascended adds items to your inventory instead of obliterating them. Redesign your base layout without losing hours of construction. Test foundation placements and relocate them if positioning isn't perfect. This single change makes iterative base design actually feasible, instead of punishingly permanent. Remote infrastructure eliminates clutter dramatically. The old irrigation system required massive pipe networks snaking everywhere to transport water. Now place a stone or metal water intake near water sources, and it creates an invisible irrigation range. Place water tanks within that range to extend coverage further. No physical pipes connecting anything. Any structure within range is considered irrigated. The electrical system works identically. Generators power nearby structures wirelessly within range, eliminating tangled wire spaghetti throughout your base. It's infrastructure that works like modern Wi-Fi instead of 1990s cabling. Material progression follows familiar survival tiers, but with improved structural integrity. Start with thatch, weak, temporary shelters, upgrade to wood, basic protection, then stone, mid-tier durability, metal, strong defense against most threats, and finally tech, endgame technology with special properties. Each tier withstands progressively harsher environmental conditions, and creature attacks upgrade walls to metal for defense against hostile dinosaurs. Add spiked walls for perimeter protection that damages attacking creatures automatically. Location strategy balances, resource access, defensive positioning, and creature spawns. Build near water sources for irrigation and fishing forest areas, provide wood and fiber, but attract predator spawns. Beach locations offer visibility and escape routes, but expose you to amphibious threats. Elevated positions like cliffs provide natural defenses. Island bases create water barriers, limiting land-based creature access. Some players build treehouse bases attached to massive redwood trees for aerial safety, requiring flying tames for access. Underwater bases use specialized tech structures for aquatic fortresses. The craziest build? Constructing entire mobile bases on the backs of tamed titanosaurs, the game's largest creatures, creating nomadic fortresses that move. Taming integration makes bases functional beyond shelter. Tamed dinosaurs serve as living base components. Ankylosaurus gather metal and stone. Casteroids produce cementing paste and wood. Dodecurus harvest stone efficiently. Argentavis transport heavy materials across distances. Build dedicated creature pens within your base perimeter using fence foundations and walls. Create breeding facilities with climate control for raising baby dinosaurs requiring specific temperatures. Construct storage facilities where tamed pack mules like Parasaur function as mobile inventory. Your base isn't just player housing, it's dinosaur infrastructure managing resource-gathering creatures, combat mounts, and breeding programs simultaneously. Advanced features unlock through progression. Tech tier introduces powered structures with special properties, teleporters connecting distant bases, force fields providing automated defense, generators producing infinite power from specific resources, cryopods storing tamed creatures in portable form. Build advanced crafting stations, fabricators for endgame equipment, industrial forges smelting massive quantities, chemistry benches producing advanced materials, tech replicators crafting high-tech gear. Defensive design matters critically on PvP servers. Multi-layered walls with turret coverage create killing zones. Plant species X, defensive plants, slow and damage raiders. Vaults protect valuable items with massive health pools. Hidden compartments use clever foundation tricks, concealing loot rooms. Underwater vaults exploit 3D space, where raiders expect flat layouts. The building system's flexibility enables creative defensive architectures. Honeycomb structures where raiders must break through multiple wall layers. Maze-like interiors disorienting attackers. Fake loot rooms wasting raider resources. Blueprint system enables pre-planned construction. Create structure mock-ups before gathering materials, preventing wasteful builds from poor planning. Save successful designs as blueprints for rapid replication across multiple bases or servers. Share blueprints with tribe members for coordinated construction projects. The building grid ensures precise alignment. Foundations snap to grid patterns, creating clean layouts. Pillars support multi-story construction beams. Provide structural reinforcement for large spans. Ceilings double as floors for vertical expansion. Stairs, ramps, and ladders connect levels. The physics system actually matters. Poorly supported structures lose stability, indicated by visual cues, eventually collapsing if support is insufficient. For base builders who want survival construction where tame dinosaurs integrate into base infrastructure, where wireless utilities eliminate clutter, and where building mechanics actually cooperate instead of fighting you, ARK: Survival Ascended delivers the game Survival Evolved should have been. Your base isn't decoration, it's a fortified dinosaur ranch, managing prehistoric creatures as living tools while defending against the planet's most dangerous wildlife. And finally, the building system doesn't make you want to punch your monitor.
ARK lets you ride dinosaurs and build massive bases, but what if I told you the next game gives you an entire universe to explore and build in? Let's talk about No Man's Sky, the redemption story of base building. Launch in 2016, disaster. No base building whatsoever. But Hello Games spent 9 years delivering free updates until No Man's Sky transformed into arguably the most ambitious base building game in existence. In 2025, with Voyagers and Beacon updates, you're not just building planetary bases. You're constructing custom starships with furnished interiors, managing settlements, and creating mobile bases traveling between star systems. This is building everywhere. The next update shattered every limitation. Build anywhere on any planet. Mountaintops, underwater, caves, floating platforms. Own up to 400 planetary bases across galaxies. The Frontiers update overhauled the build menu with clean grid layouts showing hundreds of parts. Structure, technology, decoration, power, industry. You're not just stacking walls. You're building power grids with solar panels, establishing automated mining with extractors and depots, growing crops in biodomes, refining resources in industrial facilities. Bases serve actual functions. Teleporter networks linking settlements, storage holding thousands of slots, crafting stations processing advanced tech. The terrain manipulator changes everything. Flatten land, carve tunnels, build underground bunkers, sculpt landscaping. Unlike most games where edits reset, No Man's Sky saves modifications permanently. That hollowed mountain stays hollowed. The Endurance update transformed freighters into customizable capital ships. You're designing interior layouts with corridors, command centers, crew quarters, farms, windows overlooking space. Build exterior platforms and catwalks where you walk outside the ship in zero gravity. Your freighter becomes a mobile space station following you across galaxies. The Voyagers update in August 2025 added something unprecedented. Build your own starships with fully furnished interiors. Corvette-class ships are mobile bases you assemble piece by piece at space station workshops. Design everything from scratch: landing gear, habitation modules, 3 aesthetics: Titan, Ambassador, Thunderbird, cockpits, engines, thrusters, shields, weapons, wings, hull plating. Every piece is individually positioned and painted. You're not choosing presets, you're architecting silhouettes. Then walk inside your ship while flying, stand up from the pilot seat mid-flight, walk through corridors you designed, check your refinery, look out windows at nebulas. Multi-story Corvettes link floors with staircases. Multiple HABs auto-connect with doorways. Build mission radars, living walls, cargo storage, refiners, furniture. Everything from planetary bases inside a ship traveling faster than light. Corvettes support multiplayer crews. Invite friends aboard. Launch cooperative missions, manage systems together. You can even spacewalk, open the access way mid-flight and float weightlessly around your ship's exterior in deep space. The Beacon update lets you oversee multiple settlements, upgrade buildings, manage NPC citizens with unique personalities, and discover robotic autophage townships. As Overseer, you're resolving disputes, commissioning festivals, defending against sentinels, optimizing production. 9 years of free updates adding planetary bases with unlimited parts, freighter capital ships, custom corvettes with spacewalking, settlement management. You're building underwater temples, mountain fortresses, orbital freighters, custom starships, entire settlements. And No Man's Sky proves the best base building means building literally anything, anywhere, on a galactic scale. No Man's Sky offers infinite worlds to make your own. But if you want to hyper-focus on building the most efficient factory empire imaginable, number 4 is pure industrial bliss.
Let's be honest, most base building games give you a cozy house to decorate. Satisfactory hands you a 30 square kilometer alien planet and says, build a factory that processes millions of items per hour across multiple production tiers and make it look good doing it. This isn't base building, this is industrial engineering from a first-person perspective where your base is a sprawling network of automated production lines, conveyor highways, and power grids that would make a logistics manager weep with joy. The conveyor belt system is the backbone of everything. Belts transport items between buildings at different throughput rates. Mankey-1 handles 60 items per minute. Mark II does 120, scaling up to Mark VI at 1,200 items per minute. Connect a miner's output to a belt, route it to smelters, split the output to constructors using splitters, 1 input, 3 outputs. Merge multiple production lines with mergers, 3 inputs, 1 output. 1 output, and suddenly you've got automated iron plate production running 24/7 without touching placing a single item manually. Belts snap to building ports and conveyor poles, can be built in straight lines or curves, and physically show every item traveling along them. Watching resources flow through your factory is genuinely mesmerizing. But horizontal building is just the beginning. Satisfactory's genius is vertical construction. Stack foundations to create multi-story factories. Smelters on ground level, constructors on floor 2, assemblers on floor 3. Use conveyor lifts to transport items between floors at rates matching belt throughput, up to 1,200 items per minute on Mi K6 lifts. Stackable conveyor poles let you run belt highways at different elevations, creating bus systems that ferry materials across your factory without clogging walkways. You can attach splitters and mergers directly to conveyor lifts mid-height for modular vertical logistics. Build logistics floors, hidden levels between production floors where belt spaghetti can run wild without cluttering your clean assembly lines above. Reserve 7 to 11 meters of headspace for these utility levels to stack 3 or 4 belts vertically. Foundations are your building canvas. Snap them to grids. Hold control for precise rotation and positioning. Create flat surfaces on uneven terrain, and use them as structural bases for machines, walls, and multi-story complexes. You can build production platforms in canyons, over water, at mountain peaks. Terrain doesn't limit you, it just changes your engineering challenges. Floor holes let conveyor lifts pass between levels cleanly. Wall-mounted power outlets hide power lines inside foundations. 2 splitters or mergers fit perfectly on one foundation tile without clipping. Power management adds genuine strategic depth. Early game relies on biomass burners, manual fuel from leaves and wood. Mid-game unlocks coal generators requiring automated coal mining, water pumps, and pipe networks. Late game brings oil, nuclear, and eventually geothermal power. Power poles connect generators to machines via visible electrical lines. Each pole has connection limits, so you organize grids by production area, overclock machines with power shards crafted from collectible slugs to boost output 250%, but power consumption scales exponentially. Run out of electricity and your entire factory shuts down until you restore the grid pipes handle liquid transport, water, oil, fuel, acids, with flow rates measured in cubic meters per minute. Pumps lift fluids vertically. Junctions split and merge pipe networks. You'll build refineries converting crude oil into fuel, plastic, and rubber, each requiring precise pipe routing and fluid buffer management to prevent production stalls. Transportation scales beautifully. Walk and hand carry materials early on. Unlock factory carts running on conveyor belts for automated item transport. Build trucks with autopilot routes connecting distant outposts. Construct train networks spanning kilometers with automated schedules hauling thousands of items between megabases. Hypertubes launch you through pneumatic tubes at high speed. Jetpacks and jump pads provide vertical mobility. You're not just building factories, you're creating continent-spanning logistics networks. The space elevator progression system gates technology through tiers. Complete projects requiring increasingly complex components, from iron rods to supercomputers to nuclear pasta, to unlock advanced buildings, alternate recipes, and higher tier production capabilities. Each tier demands factory expansion, forcing you to scale production, optimize throughput, and engineer solutions to bottlenecks. The MAM, Molecular Analysis Machine, researches alien artifacts and hard drives containing alternate recipes that dramatically change production efficiency. What makes Satisfactory special for builders is how it combines creative freedom with optimization obsession. You can build gorgeous glass-walled factories with perfect symmetry, or embrace conveyor belt spaghetti, where efficiency trumps aesthetics. Build modular blueprints replicating production blocks. Design men bus systems, feeding materials to specialized manufacturing wings. Create self-contained production pods for specific components. The only limit is your imagination and willingness to plan throughput calculations. For base builders who want every construction decision to affect industrial efficiency, where building isn't decoration, but functional engineering that must balance throughput, power consumption, and spatial logistics across massive scales. Satisfactory is unmatched. Your factory never sleeps, and watching it hum with automated perfection is profoundly, well, satisfactory.
Satisfactory is all about optimization and automation, but our top 3 is where things get serious. Starting with a game that's been quietly perfecting the zombie survival formula for over a decade.
Project Zomboid is the game that started it all for many of us. The isometric zombie survival game that's been in early access since 2013 and somehow still feels more complete than most finished survival games. This isn't a flashy 3D survival experience. It's top-down, methodical, and absolutely brutal. Permadeath is guaranteed. The question isn't if you'll die, but when. And in this unforgiving landscape, base building becomes the ultimate long-term project. You're not building to win, you're building because creating something permanent in a world of decay is what keeps you playing past day 100. What makes Project Zomboid's base building special is the complete creative freedom through the carpentry skill system. You're not working with prefab structures or modular snap-together pieces. You're placing individual wall sections, floor tiles, door frames, windows, stairs, everything built piece by piece. Want a 2-story compound with a rooftop farm and rain collection system? Build it. Want to fortify an existing warehouse into a multi-level fortress? Do it. Want to construct a bridge over water connecting 2 buildings? Absolutely possible. The only limits are your carpentry level and available materials. Carpentry progression gates your building capabilities in a way that feels natural. Level 0 lets you build basic wooden walls and barricade windows. Level 2 unlocks wooden doors and better walls. Level 4 gives you double doors and stronger structures. Level 6, the big milestone, unlocks stairs and rooftops, letting you build vertically. Level 7 gets you log walls, the strongest vanilla defense. Each level also improves construction speed and health of built objects. Starting as a carpenter occupation gives you massive advantage, but even without it, you're reading skill books and grinding XP by building practice walls. Materials are the constant grind. Planks and nails are your bread and butter. Nails spawn in warehouses, sheds, garages, toolboxes, but they're finite. You scavenge or dismantle furniture for more. Planks come from lumber piles or sawing logs with a handsaw. 1 tree equals 1 log. 1 log becomes 4 planks. You'll need hundreds. Then there's sheet metal for reinforced structures, hinges for doors, doorknobs, screws, various tools. The material economy in Project Zomboid is legitimate resource management, not the infinite crafting loops in other games. The genius of the system is the dual approach: fortify existing structures or build from scratch. Most players start by claiming a house, board windows with planks, reinforce doors, build interior walls to create safe rooms, add sheet rope escape routes from upper floors. Then they expand outward, walling off yards, building garages for vehicles, creating perimeter fences. Eventually you're adding second stories to single floor houses, building watchtowers, constructing entire annexes, but dedicated builders go full custom. Find open land and construct from foundation up. Place wooden floor tiles for your footprint. Build walls section by section. Add door frames and hang doors. Construct stairs to a second level. Place floor tiles for the second story. Build walls and add a roof. Plumb rain barrels on the roof to sinks below for clean water. The isometric view makes complex multi-story structures challenging but deeply satisfying when you nail the design. Defense strategy revolves around layered protection. Wooden walls are your first line. Log walls at high carpentry levels become incredibly strong. Zombies will attack walls if they see you through windows or hear noise, so you board up windows and add curtains. Some players exploit the furniture fence glitch. Place a table or crate. Build fence in front of it. Zombies can't climb or break it. Others build elevated bases with knocked out stairs, though Build 41 made rope ladders destructible, changing that meta. The plumbing system adds another building dimension. Rain collector barrels on roofs connected to sinks below provide infinite clean water, essential for long-term survival. You're literally designing water filtration systems using game mechanics. Generators power your base once electricity shuts off, requiring fuel but enabling refrigerators, lights, and electric tools. Planning generator placement with fuel storage becomes architecture considerations. Location selection depends on playstyle. Louisville offers maximum loot but insane zombie density, veteran territory. Rosewood has fewer zombies, perfect for beginners, but limited resources. West Point and Muldra are middle ground options. Many players prefer rural farms with existing fencing and agricultural space. Some build deep in forests where zombie spawns are minimal, but resource runs require long trips. The community has pushed building to absurd levels. Players construct entire self-sufficient compounds with farms, workshops, medical bays, armories, vehicle garages, and living quarters headquarters. Some build replica structures from other media. Others make functioning towns in multiplayer servers. The debug mode lets you copy and paste tiles, enabling even more creative mega projects. After 10+ years of development, the building meta has evolved into legitimate architecture. And here's what keeps people coming back. Your base is your legacy. When you finally die, and you will die, that base remains. In multiplayer, other players discover it. In single player, you start a new character in the same world and can return to your creation, now overrun and decayed. That impermanence makes every base meaningful. You're not building for stats or achievements. You're building because in a game about inevitable death, construction is defiance. Project Zomboid proves that isometric perspective doesn't limit base building depth. It enables it. When you give players piece-by-piece construction freedom, skill-based progression, and meaningful resource scarcity, base building becomes the endgame content. And when you finally stand on your rooftop farm overlooking your walled compound at sunset on day 200, watching zombies mill around outside your impenetrable walls, that's why we're still playing a game that's been in early access for over a decade, because the building is that good.
Project Zomboid is the thinking person's zombie game, slow, methodical, and absolutely unforgiving. But if you want that same depth with Vikings bosses and co-op adventures, number 2 delivers in spades.
Most Viking survival games give you axes and tell you to chop wood. Valheim hands you a hammer and says, prove you're worthy of Valhalla by building a mead hall Odin himself would envy. The building system uses realistic structural physics, where every beam, wall, and roof tile matters for stability. Your longhouse doesn't just shelter you from trolls and Draugr, it's architectural proof that you belong among the Norse gods. And when storms rage and enemies attack, poorly designed structures literally collapse under their own weight. The structural integrity system is brilliant and punishing. Every piece displays color-coded stability. Blue means grounded, touching terrain, 100% stable. Green is good, yellow is concerning, orange is risky, and red means it's about to break. Place a piece onto something fully red and it immediately collapses, dropping resources. Stability degrades the further pieces extend horizontally or vertically from grounded supports. Build a wall 6 blocks high unsupported. Watch it crumble. Each piece inherits maximum stability from what supports it. Add to something 50% stable, and your new piece caps at 50%. Weight matters. Stone walls hanging horizontally fail faster than wooden beams. The solution: vertical support beams, creating the shortest path to ground-raised terrain beneath structures using the hoe so foundations touch earth, maximizing base stability. Plant trees. Yes, trees function as ground for support purposes, enabling insanely tall constructions. Use core wood from pine trees for stronger structural pieces than regular wood from birch and beech. Stone provides even better durability once you unlock the stonecutter cross bracing with wooden beams distributes load, letting you build multi-story towers and suspended walkways that would otherwise collapse. Terrain manipulation is essential. The hoe levels uneven ground, preventing structural weaknesses from unbalanced foundations. The pickaxe removes rock for building sites, flatten areas completely before placing floor tiles. Half-embedded foundations cause asymmetric stability failures that ruin symmetrical buildings. Smart builders raise ground beneath structures, ensuring entire bases rest on blue stable foundations. Boulders count as terrain too, so intersecting them provides natural grounding points. Weather systems directly impact construction. Wooden pieces exposed to rain decay to 50% durability, developing rotting textures until repaired. The solution: proper roofing. Use actual roof tiles, not floor tiles repurposed as ceilings. Only real roof tiles protect from wind and weather. Build chimneys or roof openings for indoor campfires, angled to prevent rain entry while venting smoke. Smoke accumulation damages players over time, so ventilation isn't aesthetic, it's survival. The workbench radius system gates construction. You can only build within workbench range, and repairs require appropriate crafting stations nearby. Workbench for wood, stonecutter for stone. Place workbenches throughout your building site to extend construction zones. Advanced tip: hidden workbenches in perimeter walls or covered pits prevent enemy spawns in their radius, creating safe zones without visible clutter. Comfort mechanics reward interior design. Furniture like beds, benches, chairs, banners, and rugs increase comfort levels up to 17+, extending the rested buff duration, vital for stamina regeneration, to 24 minutes. A well-furnished mead hall isn't cosmetic, it's mechanical advantage. Use partitions and half walls to contain furniture without visual clutter. Place beds near campfires for spawn point functionality. Hide fireplaces and stone walls, preventing smoke damage while maintaining warmth. Defensive design matters critically. Enemies attack light sources and crafting stations aggressively. Build palisade walls with stake defenses around perimeters. Construct moats, forcing enemies into kill zones. Create watchtowers and archer positions with half-wall protection. Design multiple exits for emergency escapes. Hide valuable items in separate secured rooms in case main defenses breach. Build on elevated terrain pillars. Most creatures can't scale steep walls, and minimizing terrain alteration improves FPS while providing natural defenses. Advanced techniques unlock creative freedom. Snap mechanics auto-align pieces for tight fits. Hold shift to disable snapping for custom angles. Stack chests vertically using 1x1 floor tiles as shelves, then destroy shelves. Chests hover indefinitely, quadrupling storage density. Use wood beams as snap points for outdoor flooring. Build recessed walls by placing doors for 3 snap points, using innermost points creating depth. Construct suspended platforms by placing 1-meter beams on floor edges, then 2-meter beams in front as supports for next tiles, avoiding dangerous balancing acts on high builds. Progression unlocks materials. Wood and thatch for starter structures, core wood for stronger builds, stone for fortifications, iron for reinforced construction, black metal for endgame bases. The cultivator plants crops and trees, enabling farm infrastructure. The forge processes bronze, iron, and other metals for advanced building components. Blast furnaces, kilns, and fermenters require dedicated crafting rooms as your base evolves from shelter to industrial complex. Viking aesthetics emerge through careful design. Traditional longhouses stretch 10 by 15 meters with internal campfires, cooking stations, beds aligned along walls, and roof beams hiding straw textures. Build on hills for visibility and prestige. Vikings displayed wealth through impressive hilltop structures visible from distances. Palisades with round edges, though they take rain damage without coverage. Mead halls with high ceilings, decorative shields, banners displaying faction colors, throne rooms, and treasure vaults. Dungeons for containing grey dwarfs, seriously, for base builders who want construction where physics actually matters, where structural engineering determines whether your mead hall survives or collapses during the next troll raid, and where proving your worth to Norse gods means building architecture worthy of Valhalla. Valheim delivers Viking survival with genuine architectural stakes. Your longhouse isn't decoration, it's testament to your engineering skill, and Odin is watching.
Valheim took the survival world by storm with its Viking fantasy setting and addictive progression. But the game that takes the #1 spot combines everything we love about survival, base building, and exploration into one incredible package.
Most survival games bolt construction systems onto existing engines and call it good enough. Enshrouded built a proprietary voxel-based engine from scratch specifically for base building, treating construction as the core pillar rather than an afterthought. You're not snapping prefab panels together, you're manipulating true 3-dimensional voxels, volumetric pixels that occupy actual space in the game world. Want to recreate the Eiffel Tower, build the Sphinx, carve underground dungeons into mountains? The voxel system says, go ahead, and the only limit is imagination, not engine constraints. The voxel manipulation is deceptively powerful. Each cubic meter voxel can be added, removed, or modified individually. Build block by block Minecraft style if you want absolute control over every detail, but that's tedious. Instead, use the construction hammer's prefabricated blueprints. 4-meter blocks for roughing out areas quickly, 2-meter blocks for standard construction, 1-meter blocks for detail work and filling gaps. These blueprints are collections of voxels placed simultaneously that seamlessly merge together, creating smooth surfaces rather than visible block seams. Place a wall blueprint and it automatically integrates with adjacent pieces. No fighting snap points. The contextual styling is brilliant. Cut a hole through a wall and the system automatically generates window frames around the opening. Doorways appear naturally. Edges round or sharpen based on surrounding geometry. Voxels aren't dumb cubes. They're smart building components that understand architectural context. You can refine any blueprint placement using single block voxel tools afterward, adding decorative trim, support beams, visible visible inside roofs, or custom-edged shapes that make structures look handcrafted rather than template stamped. Terraforming integrates fully with construction. The voxel-based terrain can be sculpted freely. Dig cellars beneath bases, carve moats around fortifications, hollow out mountains for cave dwellings, raise hills for elevated strongholds. The land itself is buildable material. Prepare fertile soil for farming directly on your property. Create drainage channels, sculpt courtyards and pathways. Unlike games where terrain is static backdrop, Enshrouded's terrain is construction medium you manipulate as freely as building blocks. There's zero structural integrity system. This isn't Valheim where unsupported walls collapse. You're essentially in a three-dimensional paint program. Build floating sky castles with no foundation support. Create gravity-defying architecture. Start construction in mid-air by placing a floating block as scaffolding, hop onto it, and continue building vertically without touching ground. Practical builders use this for temporary platforms during construction. Creative builders make it their aesthetic. Either way, physics doesn't constrain design. The flame altar defines your building zone, a 40 by 40 by 40 meter cube extending equally in all directions from placement. Within this zone, you have complete construction freedom. The altar also serves as fast travel point, respawn location, and crafting hub. Place it strategically considering future expansion needs and proximity to resources. You can establish multiple altars across the map, creating networked bases connected via fast travel. Building UI prioritizes efficiency. Construction hammer in hand, press tab for the building menu showing all available blocks. Your toolbar displays selected blocks across the bottom. Alt plus scroll cycles through toolbar slots. Q plus scroll moves blocks closer or farther from your character for precise placement. Z plus scroll adjusts camera distance for detailed work. Left click places voxels, right click removes them. Press Y to undo the last 5 building or terraforming actions. Critical for fixing mistakes without manual removal. Resource management is straightforward. Building materials craft in lots of 100 blocks. When blocks merge during placement, total resource cost decreases. The system recognizes overlapping voxels and refunds excess materials. A counter beside your cursor shows blocks used and remaining resources, providing real-time feedback during construction. NPC integration makes bases functional beyond player housing. Rescue NPCs throughout the world and position them in your base. They won't offer full services until properly housed. Stick them in plain wooden boxes or design proper domiciles. Your choice NPCs provide crafting services, item trades, and progression unlocks. Your base becomes village infrastructure supporting 15+ cooperative players in multiplayer servers. The building variety enables architectural diversity. Craft rustic wooden shelters nestled in forests. Construct fortified stone castles towering over Embervale-designed Gothic skull fortresses. Build sprawling underground complexes. Create communal monuments in multiplayer. Shared constructions become testaments to collective effort where 16 players coordinate massive projects impossible solo. No PvP or raid mechanics means bases serve creative expression and functional housing without defensive pressure. Advanced techniques maximize creative control. Use different roof types against original roofs. Blocks won't merge, creating intentional gaps for decorative trim or exposed support beams. Place individual voxels directly on your hotbar for accent work without opening construction menus. Build scaffolding to reach elevated areas during construction. The seamless voxel integration means pieces flow together naturally, regardless of placement order or method. Combat and exploration complement construction. This isn't pure creative mode. Enshrouded blends survival crafting with ARPG combat. Clear enemy camps to unlock NPCs and loot. Progress through skill trees unrestricted by class limitations. Gather resources from biome-specific zones guarded by bosses. Your base provides respite between adventures while serving as crafting center, transforming gathered materials into better gear. For base builders who want voxel freedom without Minecraft's visual simplicity, where terraforming and construction use the same system, and where architectural ambition faces zero artificial limits from physics or structural mechanics. Enshrouded delivers creative sandbox construction at a scale and detail level few survival games attempt. Your base isn't just shelter, it's architectural statement proving what's possible when developers build entire engines around construction as core pillar rather than bolted on feature. And there you have it, 17 base building games that are absolutely worth your money in 2026. Whether you're building Viking halls, factory empires, or just trying to survive the night, these games deliver.
Which one are you picking up first? Let me know in the comments, and if I missed your favorite, call me out. I want to hear about it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.